Hi my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel today. Today's share is for Anna's Craft Cupboard and I'm playing along with the February mini challenge over in the Facebook group. You can see here I have drawn a heart. Now I've used my Cameo and my pen holder to draw that line. The mini challenge is to use washi. So I'm going to, I've actually flipped this because I want this higher side to be this way. So I'm going to use my strips of washi tape and cover my heart. This line here on the inside, I'm going to do some hand stitching. So I'm going to show you the process. Before I do anything though, I'm going to use my bone folder just to go around the outside of this heart so that I have some idea of exactly where to put my washi tape. So I'm going to pop you on fast forward and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to use my bone folder and just quickly go over the lines of this heart. I'm only going over the outer line and you'll see me pick up my cardstock a bunch of times and look at it and while I'm putting my washi tape down just to check where those lines are. It's not really obvious on the other side, but it's obvious enough that I can see it. I do go over it twice. I mean, if you wanted to do a similar sort of thing, you could always cut out the heart first, but I didn't want to have the fiddly bits in the middle of the heart where it comes down to have to muck around with getting it straight and stuff. So you can see I'm just getting this washi, I'm tearing off strips and I'm adding them on. I'm not putting too much thought into it, but you can see some are going on straight and I've just started ripping this one out of different, just so it's a bit wavy and gives a bit of a different texture. You can see as I pick it up after I lay each one down just to check where that line is and make sure I've got it in the right place. This one I put down twice in the wrong place and then got it right eventually. So I mean, I haven't kept the whole process of this in because it's not a very interesting process. It's very simple. You can just add your washi tape in and it can be anything. I just picked this particular stuff because I've got it sitting here and I do want to get it used up. I love the patterns, I love the colours, and I thought it would make a really fun page. So like I said, I didn't leave it all in. I did end up bringing in a wood grain from my stash, which is quite, I reckon it's an inch and a half wide, and I've used that in a couple of places on this cut file as well. You can see I am now trimming out my heart with my scissors. And again, I'm not too worried about it being perfect because it is a wonky heart and it's my page. You can see here that those patterns are really full on, bright, fun, colourful. And at this point, I wasn't 100% sure exactly what I was going to do with it, besides do the stitching. So you'll see what happens in a sec. So there was a couple of bits where I didn't quite get the washi all the way to the edge. There's a few creases, so I'm just using my fingernail to smooth it out. So I'm going to put gesso all over the front of this. I started with a paintbrush, but the gesso was going on way too thick, so I've swapped over to my 1-inch silicone thingy, whatever that's called, and I'm just moving all that gesso around. I wanted to knock back some of that colour, but not all of it, and I also have sort of come up with an idea, and I'm going to use mixed media because it's me and I like to get messy, but I wanted some of the mixed media, I wanted some on top of the heart as well as behind the heart, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So I'm just adding the gesso there. Now that also kind of seals the washi in place, which is awesome. You can see I've got my photo here. Just trimming that down so it's still got a white border. Trying to decide on my background pattern paper. And I end up going with this black. I was like, oh, that could be really interesting. Just need to add in my stitching there. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to punch all my holes, but I'm not going to do my stitching. I'd punched all my holes and then I went to start stitching and I was like, oh, that's not the best idea in the world because I wanted to use white thread and I wanted it to stay white, especially using that black background. So I do my stitching after I've done my mixed media. You can see I've just used, I started with one of those black pencils that go on everything, and then I realized that it's going to activate with water, so I ended up pulling in a food ball pen or something, and I've just marked the corners on the heart where my photo is going to go, and I've also used a lead pencil on the black cardstock to mark on the background where the heart and the photo are going to be. There's no point putting gesso underneath the heart, so I'm going to work on that corner. Then I decide I'm going to bring something up to the top left of the heart as well, so you've got that diagonal. When I started doing this, I had the idea of putting my title up there, which is what ends up going up there, and I like the balance that it brings to the page. Going to add just one strip of tape down the middle there, just to make sure that heart doesn't move as I'm adding mixed media. So I'm using all Shimmers products. Let me see if I wrote down the colours. No, I did not. I know that light colour that I used first is Ride the Tide, I think, but it was too light. No, it's not Ride the Tide, it's something else. If you want to know the colours, let me know. I am going to also leave links to all of the products that are still available, or something that's very close to the Anna's Craft Cupboard store, in the description box below. So if you want to recreate this or really like any of the products, you'll be able to get your hands on them still. So you can see I end up going in with this colour. This is Rather Tight, I think. Hang on, I'll have a look. No, okay, so the really light colour that I tried first is Ride the Tide. That in between that second colour that I used is Blue Lagoon. I do apologise if you can hear my children. It is it's Sunday morning, and I'm getting this voiceover done so that it can go live tomorrow morning. So I do apologise if you can hear my children, but they sound like they're having fun, so it's all good. That colour that I just spilt everywhere, I must really like it because I accidentally doubled up on it. But that is a Shimmers colour, and it's called Colder Than Ice. It's beautiful blue colour. The Ride the Tide is the Creamies, if this matters, and the Blue Lagoon is an Inklings. I don't really know what the difference is. I just know that they all have different sparkles, and some don't. So you can see I'm using the packaging technique, I'm using my paintbrush, and I'm just adding colour in. The Shimmers paints, so that lighter blue, the Colder Than Ice, they're really thick, but they have this beautiful, beautiful shimmer, and they splatter beautifully as well. I've got some close-ups at the end of the splatters on that black, and they just look so awesome. So you can see I'm just going back and forward, adding colour till I'm happy. It's going to cut off here, and I added a bit more off camera. You can see here it is. I've also added some gold splatters. That is using the Minor 49er Inklings. And you can see on those two sides of where the photo's going, I've got some more washi tape as well. I've popped my title up there. And that is using the Marquee wood grain thickers with the gold glitter around the edge. Also from this collection. I'm sorry, I just had a complete mind blank of what I was trying to say then. I add in a couple of different tapes to both sides because I didn't want to add too much embellishment, but you know, this challenge is all about using the washi, so I'm like, hey, how else can I get some washi on this page? So I end up going with the pink and that geometric pattern, which I really love. I don't know what my children are doing, but I can hear some really funny voice is happening. Okay, so I caved, and I had a 40% off coupon for Spotlight, and I bought some foam. Yes, I caved. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm adding some foam to the back of this heart, and I'm going to stick that down now. I've done my stitching. I think I gave you a close-up. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. There is close-up photos where you can see the stitching. I've done the chain link stitch with white thread. This washi does not like to stick very much, especially to mixed media. I found that geometric pattern, maybe it's just my roll, really didn't want to stick. So I am just using my Scotch tacky to stick it all down. Now I can hear some evil giggling. I don't know what they're doing. Using my Scotch tacky to stick down these. So they are chipboard. We all know what chipboard thickers are like. So just using my Scotch tacky glue to glue that down. I have a bit of a blonde moment here. For some reason I'm like, oh, and I need to add some foam to the top here as well. And then I'm like, oh, it's not balanced. So now it's essentially 2 layers high, which is fine. I like the shadow and the dimension that you get. Just sticking all that down. I wanted to bring that wood grain down to the bottom right hand corner as well, and I originally had decided on using their initials, but I didn't like the way that looked, so I found these asterisks. I'm going to pause you for a minute and go and work out what my children are doing. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what they're doing, but they're getting louder and louder. So I pulled out my sticker books, the sticker folders from this collection. Found a couple of word strips, and I'm going to stick those down in. One is pink and wood grain, and one is that teal colour. Toying with this camera. It's one of the shaker puffy. They're awesome. I love them. I've got them in both collections. I think that Chamel has released them in. Love, love, love them. And I end up popping that there, I think. Yeah, no, I do. I've got these hearts from Ellie's Studio, puffy hearts in blues and greens and yellows and grey. And I use the tealy colour and the really light blue colour. They match perfectly to the mixed media I've done in the background. So I'm going to add those in 3 places, again working on that diagonal from the top left to the bottom right, and using different sizes and shapes just for a bit of interest. And then I decided to bring in a tiny bit of pink. I'm using the pink glitter enamel shapes. Now I know these aren't available in the store, but there is some in the Head in the Clouds collection which are very similar. So I added those in, and then I come back in with some pink splatters. That is Shimmer's Creamies Piggy Pink. So I'm just splattering now. I've got my photo covered up. Yeah, you can see in some of the close-ups the beautiful shimmer from the products when it dries. I love it. It's so pretty. And that is my page done. I'm going to give you a quick close-up here. So happy with that. This was a lot of fun to play with, and still have rolls and rolls and rolls of washi tape. But that's okay. I've used some of it. Here are the close-ups. I think the next one you can see some of that mixed media really well. Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you pop over to the Anna's Craft Cupboard community Facebook page. I'll link that below as well. And play along with the challenge this month. Rachel has done a beautiful job of setting the challenge. Well, she's set the challenge, and she's done a beautiful job of creating a page for the challenge, as she always does. Thank you ever so much for stopping by. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here a while, thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from you guys. And again, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you soon.